going on? Yeah, I saw you guys selectively position yourselves. Don't blame me. I guess I'll just start off with some injuries. You know, there's a couple kids that weren't out there today. Nothing of significance. First, obviously, the most obvious probably Alex Collins. Alex just tweaked his groin yesterday. He had actually a pretty good camp up till that. We thought he might be able to go today, but I'd rather get some good quality work with him all the way up to camp. So he's got some soreness in there, but nothing that we think should last significantly on offense as well. If there's anybody else up there offensively. Santos Ramirez on defense, and a guy that's really had a nice camp. He's got a bruise on his calf, so he's practiced all the way through until yesterday. He stopped halfway through practice. We're going to miss a little bit of time this coming week, but I'm very excited where he is. Bijan Jackson's another freshman that was having a really nice camp. He got rolled up on Thursday. Tried to go on Friday. Wasn't able to go, but my guess is he'll probably be back out there sooner than later as well. I'm trying to think. Nobody at quarterback, nobody at tight end, nobody at wide receiver. JoJo. JoJo. Oh, JoJo. Yeah, JoJo actually did pull his hamstring yesterday. We thought we checked him out today. Did think there might be a chance he could go. Don't think it's really severe, but he definitely has gotten better every day. I think the first day JoJo would tell you things got big in a hurry in every facet, but he caught the ball. Him and Kendrick Edwards, both of them have had a nice couple of days. Then on defense, at the safety position, corner, Tevin Mitchell has had a nice camp. He just can't go full go yet. Him and Mitchell Laban are kind of in that same category in that regards. Then Jared Cornelius, he actually went today. Didn't know if he was good. Jared Collins dislocated his finger, actually split it and broke it open. Went back inside and stitched up and went today. So I gave him a lot of credit. We didn't know if he was going to be able to go. So kind of a long injury list, but nobody of real significance. Then today to add to it, Jay Will kind of strained his hamstring on that pile up over there when they lifted his leg. Obviously, we got to take better care of ourselves. I think the defense was very aggressive today, which led to some of that stuff. Patrick Lorenz hurt his shoulder on that play that he fumbled over there. He was cleared to play, but because he fumbled, he was going to the locker room. And then Sleepy and also got banged up, but I don't think anything significant there.
Braylon Mitchell.
Braylon and Haji, Marcus Haji, both those guys, I think that he got him a little bit. One of the things, it sounds, obviously, we've had a really cool summer. We had, Ben Herbert gave me a coach sheet that showed the degree that all of our players worked out. At not breakfast, in the AM workout, in the afternoon workout, in the late afternoon. He records every time and every temperature that those kids worked out in. And this year we had, I believe, less than 5 days total of over 90-degree heat. Last year at this time, I think we practiced in condition during the summer over 30 days. So to get our guys, this was a blessing in disguise here today for everybody involved. Just get the temperature right. Go ahead.
Bijan was an ankle, you said?
Yeah, Bijan was an ankle. I'm sorry. Yep. From a scrimmage standpoint, I really liked the attitude of both units. I thought there was a lot of positives. There's definitely some things to clean up. One player that jumped out to me today was Brandon Allen. I thought he's kind of the guy today that we've seen all camp. Very confident, very in control. I think he has shown some leadership with his players on the field, whether they do something well or they do. I saw him jump Hunter. I saw him. There weren't many drops out there today, but that was really well. I think Drew Morgan stood out on the offensive side of the ball. I think our two tailbacks, Jay Will and Corliss, show you that they can do some things when there's nothing there. I'm very, very excited about them. AJ Derby, you probably saw the black leg. He actually bruised his knee a little bit yesterday and was really stiff when he got up today. So I don't think he was quite in full effect. He'd been a lot better all the way up until today, as far as production. I think defensively, we're creating turnovers. They're just, you hear our defensive players talk about it on every snap. They practice it every day. One thing I love about Rob and the defensive coaches, every day there's a tackling circuit and a ball disruption circuit. And you can tell that it's a point of emphasis and it carries over the field. So obviously I want to have greater ball security on offense. We kind of came together and talked about it. We only had one mishap after that, which goes to show that the point of emphasis does carry through. I think our defensive back end made some nice plays on the ball. We saw more big hits, more breaks on the ball, more disruption in this first scrimmage probably than I saw all last fall camp. So very, very excited about that group. You didn't see our kicking game, and that's not just it's just by design that we're going to come back tonight under the lights and have a special teams practice tonight at 7 o'clock or 7:30. They'll include all 4 phases of the kicking game in a night game situation. We get to practice kicking during the one-a-days during the day, and it's just a totally different feel for returners in the evening. So the way I laid out camp this year, all of our double days will be at night in the stadium, and a huge emphasis in the kicking game. I'll invite you guys to one of those too as well. Didn't want to come to you guys Saturday night. But yeah. Other than that, I'll take some questions. I was very pleased with today.
You talked about the progress that Austin made the other day, that made over the summer. What did you see at the end of the day, and how important is it?
I always remember, Coach Fry talking about when we were play calling early on. He talked about, that when you go to a restaurant, there's the adult menu and there's a kids menu. And when you're a kid, you get the kids menu, and when you're an adult, you get the adult. Some kids look like adults; they can handle the adult because they can handle it. As coaches, we got to do the same thing. We got to have a menu for our better players, which not better, but more experience. More. I wanted to see Austin and Ray play, so I didn't need to see him have all the window dressings and extra toppings and all the extra stuff that you need that we do. I wanted to see him just play, and I thought they did it. I thought Austin, he got a little jittery. I liked it when he popped in there with the ones, but he's had a really nice week of fall camp. I wish he would, hit puberty and start using a deep voice and talk. A little authority. Rafe, I think, is going to be a good player. You can see he's got some gifts with his legs and his arm. I thought he did really well when he popped in there with the twos as well. We kind of ran out of running backs, so we were throwing it around a little bit there, and he obviously can do that. So I think the battle for number 2 is in full throttle, and I like where both of them go.
Is Morgan the reason that Henry was running so much for the first team? Was it just because Jared?
Well, Tevin's out first. I think we'll have a tough road of it early. DJ Dean has had a little bit up and down. The kid got amazing talent, got to grow up. I think the Louisiana kids, I might send 10 coaches over there, man. I think Andre Tolliver, I think Dwayne Eugene, obviously Jared Cornelius. Those we got Lou Charpentier. Those Louisiana kids, man, play ball the right way. I'm very, very impressed with those guys early on. And Andre, really the last 3 days has shown up. It was kind of interesting, all the coaches want to make decisions after day 1, day 2. This guy can do this guy can do that. We didn't have pads on until Wednesday. Players change so much when they put pads on. Not just because I like to play the way we play, but football players show up when pads are on, and that's what Andre's done. I didn't like the cut tackle he used on number 33 there. But other than that, everything was tough.
Randy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned him earlier. He's a guy that, again, when we were in no pads, really just was kind of a kid wandering around, but now, he understands, like Jim Chaney always says, see ball, get ball. He's a very, very intense player. He's, put on, I think he came in at like 206, he's 224. He's got the guns going in the chest, and he's just rock solid. He plays with his feet underneath him, plays on the balls with his feet. I think the defensive coach, Randy in particular, Randy Shannon, obviously knows he's got to bring that kid along because he's got some ability. I think him and Dwayne Eugene are the 2 that can probably help us at linebacker the quickest.
You can elaborate on Drew Morgan's day a little bit.
Yeah.
Was he being up over?
He just started cramping up a little bit. I kind of made the decision earlier in the week. There were some things that were, going on, and I said, the only 4 wide receivers I want to see running with the ones. I want to see Demetrius Wilson, Jared Cornelius, Drew Morgan, and Cody Hollister. And Keon Hatcher has really responded since then. Made a great play down there today. I think we got 5 very, very good wide receivers. A definite increase, I think, from where we were just depth-wise a year ago. Again, not a knock on the pass. Love those guys. I just think the 5 of these guys bring something. But Drew Morgan, a year ago, he caught all those balls for Coach in Greenwood, and I knew he could catch, And I remember last spring, I ripped him for 5 minutes when he put a ball. He reminds me a lot of the player that had Avadares this year that went to the pack. Not just because they're a white wide receiver. It's not that. For them, they've got optimal speed, but they have to catch everything. They have to be perfect on their routes. They have to understand the correct split. They got to have great communication with their quarterbacks. I bet you if you walked in the locker room right now, BA would say, hey, how's 80? Make sure 80's okay. And I don't know 2 weeks ago if he would have had that pressing concern. So I was very, very pleased with the upper end of our wide receivers today that caught the ball. I think Jared Cornelius, this is probably one of our poorer days. I think he just got he's got a lot on him. I think as coaches, we can't just put too much on that young man's plate.
You talk about that added weight for Ramsey. Does that mean that he could potentially be a guy that could contribute at the linebacker position and not just on special teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're exactly right. I think Braylon, Mitchell is a senior that's done a really nice job. I think we have to understand that Braylon is probably not a 60-play game guy. He's probably in that lower 40s, somewhere around in there, and a very, very good player, but his breakdowns tend to come when he's tired and a little bit worn down. So Randy come in and gives us something. I think we also got to look at, there's some guys that TQ has been playing well over at Will, and Otha's been coming along nice at the Mike linebacker. Josh Williams does some really nice things in the run game at the Mike. So trying to distribute that wealth exactly. We'll have a big personnel meeting tomorrow, get all the guys in the right places, but I agree, Randy, I think they give us something more special.
It looked like the receivers were finding space in the defense, maybe a little bit easier than they had in the past. You think that's just the chemistry between them and the quarterbacks are better than
They're what, running underneath?
They're finding space.
Oh, finding space?
In the defense.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say. I think they got a better understanding, and one of the things that we've really been trying to emphasize is the ones run with the ones, I kind of grew into that evolution as a coach is, there's same reason I want that right guard and right tackle to play next to each other a lot. I want those receivers to play next to one another with the quarterback that's going to be throwing the ball. And I went into huddle there when Austin Allen got in with the ones, and there was a procedure penalty. Well, even though they're bloodly related, they came from the same mom and dad. They don't give the same cadence, and there was a jump. So we got to go in the huddle. Listen, there's a new cue. His last name is Allen, but this is Austin. He plays differently than his brother, and it sounds simple. It sounds funny, but that's true. Those kids, they got to realize the new cue's in there, and there's going to be adjustments with that.
Do you foresee any shuffling in the offensive line, personnel-wise?
You mean just like
Or after?
Like as in a game situation?
Well, no, just after your personnel meetings. I mean, you looking to make any changes?
I think so. I think two guys I haven't talked about who I'm extremely impressed with are Cameron Jefferson and Sebastian Tretola. Cameron Jefferson, both of those kids. As a head coach, you take at least I take a lot of caution and a lot of yield when I'm bringing in someone who is not a freshman, because you're bringing in theory, someone that's going to directly compete with an upperclassman for a position. You got to make sure that they fit in every way that you can imagine.